right, everybody, how are we doing? Welcome back to another edition of Baseball Scoops. We are probably going to be into the shortest preview that I have. It's the Nationals, a team that is seemingly kicking the can further down the road to basically when their top prospects are basically going to be ready. Because you look at their pipeline, it looks really good. You have Eli Willits, who was their latest draft pick. You have Travis Sikora, who Double A, he could probably ascend into Triple A. He's going to be a key impact pitcher, and their estimated times of arrival are 2028. So this is going to be interesting. It's crazy that this team won the World Series in 2019, and obviously a lot of those guys aren't here. Pretty much at this point, none of them are here. So it's crazy the turning of the leaf that this organization has gone, but they've just failed to rebuild the right way. They have absolutely no traction to getting this team back on track. And at some point, you have to figure out, what direction you're going to head. Because when they made the Juan Soto trade and they got quite the haul, like it's a move that really shaped the core of what they were going to build. And it was James Wood, it was C.J. Abrams, Mackenzie Gore. You got a great pitcher, you have a good shortstop, you have a good outfielder. Like that's a really good haul for what was a really good player and a player they did try and lock up. And obviously betting on himself worked. He doubled his money. But it's just you've done nothing with that. Not even close. And I get the division you're in, and I get like the competition that's ahead of you, but it's like you've done nothing to build around that. You've done nothing to add to that, and you've done nothing to be successful in light of that trade. And Mackenzie Gore got moved. He's part of the Rangers, and he's going to be a great middle of the rotation piece for them, for the foreseeable future. And granted, they got a really good prospect haul. So you're replenishing the farm system, and that's great. And I think that's really why Paul Taboni was brought in. Very good. He has a very good knack for talent. He has a direction he wants to take this team, and he's going to take this team into a pretty hard rebuild, but he's at least going to build it the right way. And he kind of kept doing that. You look at other trades he made too, where he acquired Harry Ford from the Mariners. That's a sneaky good move because let's face it, the Mariners are in deep contention, and Cal Raleigh's the catcher. And as long as he's healthy behind the plate at his age, which he's going to be playing for a long time, Harry Ford's blocked. And there's other catchers in that pipeline that also aren't going to see time, but Harry Ford's at the very least, MLB ready. So now you're establishing your catcher of the present and the foreseeable future. So this is massive. That's a massive addition. I think Ford is a really nice piece for this Nationals team. You look at his, what is he able to do? Probably a lot. He can hit, he can field. He's going to be a really nice weapon for this team. And he's done really well across the minor league systems. He did really good in AAA. It didn't really translate to the MLB level, but it's a small sample size. He only got 6 at-bats. It wasn't like that transfer, but AAA, he was great. He had 283, slugging 460, and had an 868 OPS. Like, he was really, really good. Obviously, he probably, there's always room for growth. There's always room for what this player can do. But, overall, this is a really good player to build around where you're probably not going to see a lot of time if you're with the Mariners organization. So that was a really good move. When you look at the Fangraph depth charts, he is second on the depth chart, but you never could see. He could elevate his playing time and see what kind of growth he has with the new system. So there is that. And then you had Luis Perales comes over from the Red Sox. The Red Sox, obviously, they've been cleaning house with pitchers that probably aren't going to make the cut per se. And Jake Bennett is more of a Craig Breslow guy. But Taboni is very familiar with Perales. And Perales will start the year in the minors. He got sent down in the minors anyway, which is unfortunate. But it kind of just is what it is. The way this preview is really going to go, because it's more about what they do have than what they didn't add, because the Nationals aren't in position to do a lot of adding per se. They obviously brought in bodies to kind of round out the rotation. We can kind of start there. I mean, it's not a sexy rotation. It's really filled with a bunch of guys that can take the ball and basically get the job done. That's pretty much what that boils down to. And it's guys that can eat innings, and it's guys that can pitch, and that's really what it is. Zach Littell was the latest one, and I think he actually pitched fairly well last year, a 3.81 ERA in 186 innings, 130 strikeouts, like not horrible. Walk rates are phenomenal. The strike rates are not high. Strikeout rates aren't high. Not a lot of swing and miss in his game, but a guy that can pitch. You look at Miles Michaelis, that's a guy that can, nice to say, can take the ball every fifth day. That's really about it. His walk rates are really, really high. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed for a pitcher. Wasn't really great in the Cardinals rotation. Then you got Cade Cavalli, which is probably going to spearhead this thing. He made 10 starts last year, 48.2 innings. But you look at some of the stuff under the hood, and it's actually kind of exciting. He does give up some hard contact. Does a great job keeping the ball on the ground. Doesn't walk guys a lot. You want to see the strikeouts kind of elevate, but 95th percentile chase rate. Fastball velo, you love to see it. You kind of look at his arsenal. It's not bad. He does lead with the knuckle curve, but his four-seamer is right behind it. His four-seamer was phenomenal. His knuckle curve is good. Those are his kind of bread and butter. Those are like his two pitches. Eager to see if he expands his arsenal and what that looks like going forward. But that could be a really nice piece. 27 years old. It could be fun. Believe he's their opening day starter as well. Then you got Foster Griffin, Jake Irvin, Brad Lord's in the mix. It's not a very good rotation, and it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be compiled of guys that can pretty much just play and pitch and give some kind of innings, and that's kind of what it looks like. I think Cade Cavalli could be a really nice player this year. Zach Littell is at least going to give you some kind of reliability and durability for this rotation, and then what you get after that kind of just remains to be seen. I do want to go to the lineup because I think the lineup is really interesting. Second base could be interesting with first base when it comes to like their depth. I kind of want to talk about CJ Abrams because his name was floating around in trade rumors. Couldn't get a deal done with the Giants. That was part of it, which was really fascinating. But Abrams definitely took kind of not a step back, I wouldn't say. Still hit 19 home runs, stole 31 bases. He's a base machine. He has great base running value, really great sprint speed, really bad defensive year for him. So you kind of want to see if that elevates itself. He took kind of a step back, struggled against breaking ball pitches, still hit fastballs fairly well. He still pulled the ball really well, which is nice to see, especially in the air. But you look at his approach, and his approach kind of changed. The walks went down. The strikeouts did go down. So that's the good part. He wasn't nearly as aggressive swinging at the first pitch. Then you look at like his whiff rate. He definitely brought down the out of zone swing. He was swinging more in the zone. So that's good. The approach at least had a good thing, but hard hit rates went down. His expected weighted on base average went down. It just was kind of an ugly year. I mean, his expecting batting average than what it actually was. I mean, good for him. He got some luck there. It's really not a great year for Abrams, who did struggle. And you got to wonder, too, like what kind of return you can get. At least the bat speed for him is there, which is nice to at least see. But a much uglier year for Abrams, who, I mean, he came over and he was kind of like the centerpiece of this trade, like part of it, and it's like, what do you get out of that guy? So hopefully you see kind of a different year from Abrams. I think that's the key thing. My favorite one is James Wood. This is the guy that they need to sign. I think you give him a fat extension right now. I think this is the guy you build around. This is your core. This is the nucleus piece. And he really took off in 2025. Hit 31 home runs, stole 15 bases, 256 average, 350 OBP, 475 slug, 825 OPS. It was beautiful. And that's with basically double the plate appearances. Walk rates were off the chart, 89th percentile. What was really fascinating about him is he's a lefty, and a lot of his home runs went to the opposite field, which is really fascinating when you look at his baseball savant page. But this is a guy who has elite bat speed. Bat speed top tier of the league, 95th percentile. Hard hit rate, 98th percentile. Barrel rate, 94th percentile. Average exit velo, 98th percentile. Like, phenomenal specimen of a hitter. He really, really, really is a fascinating player who can do a lot of things. He hits for average. He hits for power. And then the only thing you want to do is limit the strikeout rate because he raised the walk rate. I mean, walk rate last year was 11.6%. It was great. But when you go from 28.9% of a K rate to 32.1%, that's really, really bad. So you want to see if he limits that. He struggled against breaking and off-speed pitches this year. Demolished fastballs. He crushed fastballs. So I'm curious to see how he goes about, his game. But yeah, his opposite field was absolutely torched this year, which is really, really fun to see. I thought that was really fascinating when diving into him was the fact that he hit 31 home runs. And when you look at that spray chart, you see that a lot of them were opposite field, at least more than half. So that was, I thought, was fascinating. So I think the players that you're now wanting to see are guys that are going to kind of be groomed into the fold. My first one is Brady House. I think Brady House, he's going to get the start at third base. This is a guy that at AAA last season did pretty well for himself. I mean, he hit 304 with a 353 OBP, a 519 slug, and 873 OPS. Good for 127 WRC plus. And then at the MLB level, where he saw, how many games did he see? He actually saw significant time where he had 274 plate appearances. He did well, hitting 234. Actually, excuse me, he didn't do that well. Hit 234 with a 574 OPS, 56 WRC plus. But this is a guy who, in the minor league systems has been able to hit for power and deliver some thump into the roster. And I think, he's going to get every opportunity. He's going to get every opportunity to succeed. He's going to get every chance to make an impact. So I'm actually curious what Brady House actually does this year. He's going to be a player to watch for because I think he's going to get his chance. And this is exactly what they should be doing. But it's a kid that comes in. He's got good hard hit ability. The defense was there. It was adequate. So that's huge, manning the hot corner. But it's a good foundational piece. I mean, this is the guy they selected in the first round in 2021. So he's going to get his look. He's 22 years old. See what happens. I think there's a lot of upside here. Plate approach, definitely you want it to change, especially from a strikeout and walk rate. But there's a lot of upside with this player, and he's going to get every chance to prove himself. The biggest wild card to me and the biggest bounce back candidate, I think it's time for Dylan Cruz to kind of elevate himself. He had a rough year last year due to some inconsistencies. I mean, I did a breakout piece with Ballpark Buzz. We did a piece where we select breakout candidates, and Dylan Cruz was my candidate. You got to remember there was a real case where, who the Pirates take. Do they take the hitter and Cruz, or do they take the pitcher and Skeens? And evidently they made the right decision with Paul Skeens. But 2024, he made his leap to the MLB, showed promise in the minor league systems to warrant that call up. The slash line wasn't great. 218 with a 641 OPS. It didn't improve in 2025. Hit 208 with a 631 OPS. and a 77 WRC plus. That 77 WRC plus has hovered pretty much from 75 to 80 for his career. So pretty well below a league average bat. He's going to give you good defense in the field, which is great. But, he did take a little bit of strides, hit 10 home runs, 17 stolen bases. But, the injuries are the problem. And if he can get healthy and stay healthy and they tap into this potential, it's massive because the one thing that's nice is his bat speed is still there. The bat speed is still very much there. So if he can kind of just put it together, you're in really good shape. This is a guy that's 24 years old. A lot of these guys are really within the same age, and just seeing them kind of tap into that potential, that's really what's going to be key for this Nationals team. Like, I don't think anybody should expect them to compete, contend across the board. Like, nobody should expect that. But what you can expect is the Nationals to at least develop some of these key young guys. But it really does seem like they're kind of not kicking the can down the road, but it's like, let's figure out who's part of this core. Let's figure out who's going to be part of this group moving forward. And it kind of seems like Brady House is going to be your guy at third. Eager to see what they do with Abrams. If someone comes calling and gives them an offer that they can't refuse, okay. James Wood is your cornerstone outfielder and the nucleus of this team. You're hoping Cruz can bounce back, but it's a lot of like, all right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we're made of, and let's see how all these pieces fit. But it seems like it's like Eli Will. It's once you're ready, brother, like, here you go. So that's what it seems like they're doing, which it's a bummer because it seems like, I'll never forget Steven Strasburg and Max Scherzer just going all out for that World Series, and that's like they win it right after Harper leaves, and then you have Turner still, and Soto is there, and then you trade Soto, you get this like amazing package back, and then Turner and Scherzer leave too. And it's like you think maybe a page is being turned, and then it's kind of not. And hopefully Taboni rights the ship, and I really do think he will. I do like the moves he has made, like the trades he's made. They're really upside trades. What further trades he makes, I'm very curious about, but hopefully he can kind of steer the ship in the right direction. Hopefully James Wood is a player that wants to stay in the fold here, and hopefully James Wood is a player that they can build around for the long haul. Like, if you got a core that works out, that features Dylan Cruz, who took a step, James Wood, Brady House, Eli Willis, and that's just like the foundation of what you're doing, like your core four per se, that's really not bad. And I'm eager to see what Harry Ford does too. It's a team worth monitoring just from a development standpoint because they're not going to be very competitive this year, unfortunately. But they do have pieces that are worth watching. But that actually wraps up this Nationals preview. There's just not a ton to dive into because it's the state of the franchise, sadly. It's the state of the franchise, but I think better days are definitely ahead for this team. So let's see how it goes. But as always,